Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unlocking a literal superpower, moving from your comfortable 2D drafting world into the third dimension of AutoCAD 3D modeling. If you've been spending all your time creating flat layouts and you are finally ready to see those designs rise right off the screen, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off by welcoming you to 3D design, cover the core 3D commands, walk through your very first 3D workflow, talk about navigating and orienting models, and wrap up with troubleshooting and expert support. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. Welcome to 3D design, the dimension jump.
Think about a traditional 2D drawing. You know the drill. It gives you length and width. Basically a top-down view of, say, a concrete block. But the moment you introduce that z-axis, boom, you suddenly have height and depth. You're literally taking your familiar flat blueprints out of the flatlands and pulling them right up into reality. This lets you rotate, inspect, and catch design conflicts way before construction even begins. Okay, to prepare for this jump, you need to set up your workspace. It just takes 4 quick moves. First, select the 3D modeling workspace so you can actually see your solid creation tools. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, use the units command and set them accurately right now. Trust me, it's going to save you from massive headache-inducing scaling issues later on. Third, switch to an isometric view using your view cube so you're actually looking at all 3 dimensions at once. And fourth, pick the shaded with edges visual style. It's a lifesaver for beginners because it makes solid surfaces and boundaries crystal clear.
But hey, before we start building, there is a golden rule you have to remember. You absolutely do not need to abandon your drafting knowledge. In fact, a successful 3D model totally depends on clean 2D geometry. So if you've got a rectangle made of 4 lines, they have to connect with 0 gaps. If you need to, just fire up the polyline edit command, p-edit, to join those lines into a single, flawless, closed profile.
Section 2. The core 3D commands, digital sculpting tools.
All right, with our workspace ready and our profiles clean, let's look at the big 4 commands. First up, Extrude. This is the absolute workhorse of 3D modeling. It takes a closed 2D shape and just pulls it directly up or down along the z-axis, instantly giving it volume. You can even extrude a shape along a specific path, which is amazing for modeling things like pipes or handrails.
To put that into perspective, imagine you're building a structural support. You draw a simple rectangle, say 4,000 by 200 millimeters. You enter the Extrude command, select your rectangle, tell it you want a height of 3,000 millimeters, and just like that, you've built a solid 3-meter-high 3D wall. It really is that simple.
Next on the list is Presspull. Honestly, this command feels a bit like magic. It acts like a super smart detector that recognizes enclosed areas, even if they're just formed by intersecting lines that haven't actually been joined together yet. You literally just click inside that boundary, and you can push or pull material directly from a solid face to add or remove volume on the fly.
Now, I want you to notice the contrast here. Extrude is your go-to for precision, like when you have a clearly defined unified polyline that absolutely needs extending perfectly. But Presspull, that offers way more flexibility. It is incredibly fast during that conceptual modeling phase when you, say, just want to quickly add a raised platform or push a window opening right through an existing wall.
Okay, our third tool is Union. Think of Union as your digital superglue. Let's say you've modeled 3 separate rectangular blocks of different sizes and stack them up. By typing Union and selecting all 3 of them, AutoCAD just fuses them together into a single, continuous, stepped foundation. Easy.
And the final core command is Subtract, which is basically your digital cookie cutter. When you need to carve out space for doors, windows, or mechanical holes, you just create a solid shape that represents that hole, push it right through your main object, and then use Subtract to cut it right out.
But wait, there is a golden rule here for subtracting that you absolutely must follow. You have to select the main object, the one you want to keep first, hit Enter, and then select your cutting object second. If you mix that order up, you're going to accidentally delete your entire wall and be left staring at nothing but the window space. And yeah, we have all made that mistake at least once.
Section 3. Your first 3D workflow. Building a room.
So how do we actually use these tools together? This 6-step process is your blueprint for success. You start down on the ground by drafting a really clean 2D floor plan. Next, use Extrude or Presspull to raise those profiles into your 3D walls. From there, draw rectangles right on the walls and extrude them to create your cutter shapes for doors and windows. Then, subtract those cutters to carve out the openings. Use union to fuse any connected wall pieces together, and finally, step back and review the space to make sure everything lines up perfectly.
Section 4. Navigating and orienting models. Shifting perspectives.
As you review that room, you're quickly going to realize you need to move around. To master this 3D environment, you have to know how to spot errors that might be completely hidden if you're only looking from a single angle. You'll still use zoom and pan just like you did in 2D, but typing 3D orbit lets you dynamically rotate entirely around the model. And hey, don't forget your view cube. Clicking its corner snaps you instantly to perfect isometric views, so you can check that your walls actually meet flush in the corners.
You also really need to get comfortable with the Dynamic User Coordinate System, or DUCE. See, in 2D, you're always drawing on the flat floor, the XY plane. But in 3D, you frequently need to draw a window directly onto a vertical wall. DUCE is a fantastic shortcut. As you hover your mouse over a solid 3D face, it temporarily aligns your drawing plane right onto that angled or vertical surface. It saves you from doing all sorts of manual coordinate calculations and lets you just draw effortlessly.
Section 5. Troubleshooting and expert support. Your safety net.
Even the pros hit snags, so let's set up some defenses against common pitfalls. For instance, what if you extrude a shape and it ends up looking like a flimsy piece of digital paper instead of a solid brick? Well, that means your 2D profile was open. Just use P-Edit to close those gaps, or use Trim and Fillet with a 0 radius to connect your boundaries. If your subtractions are failing, double-check that selection order we talked about earlier. And if your drawings suddenly seem to be floating off in the wrong direction entirely, just type UCS and reset it to World to get your bearings back. If you want to speed up your modeling, keep these pro tips in mind. Always start with simple geometry before getting complex, and definitely separate your elements onto different layers. But here is a massive time saver. Always keep copies of your cutting solids before you run the subtract command. Because subtract permanently consumes the cutting object, having a backup lying around makes design modifications way easier later on.
Now, if you ever find yourself struggling to bridge these practical AutoCAD workflows with your academic reporting, Assignment on Click is an awesome resource. They provide structured guidance for both students and professionals. They can help you interpret really complex project requirements, spot tricky modeling errors you might have totally missed, and they even help you present your design decisions clearly in technical reports. It's just a great backup to have when you need to connect your software execution with a written analysis.
So, here's the thing. You already possess the baseline drafting skills required to make this jump. The geometry rules are exactly the same. You're just adding a z-axis. So I'll leave you with this final challenge. What hidden dimension is waiting to be pulled out of your current 2D projects? It is time to step out of the flatlands, pull those designs into reality, and see what you can build. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.